Dasen, I've been listening to the voice notes that you yourself have received from paramedics who have been on the scene. I mean, it's incredibly worrying exactly what's happened there, right near the High Court, right in the Durban CBD. What do you know?
That's right, Michelle. In fact, when we got here a little while ago, we were confronted with a huge crowd of people next to this cordon that you see me at the moment. Now, the way we understand it is that shooting took place in that block of flats that you see behind us. Paramedics are still working there, police are still on scene, but what Rescue Care has been saying to us so far is that they are confirming that 2 men and 2 women have passed away, and 3 others are critical. That was the last report that we did get from paramedics. But I just want to get straight into a conversation with Saron Lennox, who is with Rescue Care. In fact, Saron, I know it is quite a busy time for you, but what do we know about what took place inside that building?
At the moment, it's absolute chaos. It is confirmed that four have been deceased. It's 2 females and 2 males that are deceased currently, and another 3 are critical. Paramedics are still inside that building working on those 3 that are critical and trying to get them through to hospital. The traffic is obviously a bit gridlocked there, so we need to get them out and get them transported as soon as we can. The incidences leading up to all of this is completely unknown as we speak. SAPS and multiple other services are on scene to investigate further, but that we don't know to the leading up to the shooting.
If you can, Saron, just talk to me a bit about the injuries that the deceased and those that are wounded sustained.
The deceased as well as the wounded have sustained multiple injuries, they're gunshot wounds, multiple gunshot wounds from head to toe. It's very hard to pinpoint certain people and tell you about the exact injuries, but they are critical at this stage, and throughout their injuries from top to toe, they have hit critical organs as well.
I know that it is very early, and I do respect that you said that police are investigating, but I have to ask you this. There is some speculation here on the outside where some people are saying that there was also a policeman that was involved here, and there may have been a suicide. What can you say about that?
It's completely unknown to us. As you know, we weren't here at the time that it happened, so we actually cannot comment on that. We're unsure about that. Police, SAPS and they will have to investigate further to make sure that those allegations are correct or incorrect, but at this stage it's absolutely, on our part, we're not sure at all. We're just here to treat and transport the patients that we need to.
Apart from those very serious injuries you mentioned and those that have passed away, do we know if anyone else has been hurt at all, or anyone else was in the vicinity at the time of the shooting?
As far as I know, there were people that were in the vicinity at the time of the shooting, but nobody else has been injured. And as far as we can see, nobody else has come to us and asked us for help. So we're assuming at this point that there are no other injuries besides the 7 in total that were shot.
Thank you very much for your time. That was Saron Lennox from Rescue Care saying that it is quite a hectic scene that they are just coming from now. Again, the reasons for the shooting we have yet to find out. The last I spoke to police, the spokespeople for the Metro Police as well as the SAPS, they did say that they are on scene and they are upstairs on the first floor of that block of flats, in fact, and they have promised to give us an update the minute they come out of that building and down here to us.
Listen, before we let you go, I mean, you've arrived on the scene just minutes ago, it would sound like, just for our viewers who have just tuned in at 1:15 on this Monday afternoon. This shooting, according to the details you know, took place inside that building, which is close to the Durban High Court.
That's right, Michelle. And just to give you an idea of my location, I'm actually just a couple hundred meters away from the Durban High Court. I'm in a street called Baker Street, which is in the Durban CBD. And it's this block of flats that you may be seeing behind me. It's where the shooting took place. And as to why that happened, there is a lot of speculation. People that are gathered here on the street are saying that it could be a domestic dispute. Others are saying that there could also be a Metro policeman that was involved in that shooting as well. But I must stress at this point, all of that unconfirmed because we haven't received any official police comment just yet.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll begin reporting those things as fact once we can confirm it with the relevant authorities. But Dasen, just in terms of the people who I'm sure have gathered there on the scene, do those include people who perhaps walked past at the time of the shooting, who may have actually heard this shooting unfold?
And while I do that, Michelle, I'll just show you that scene, in fact, that we're talking about. You'll see that there is quite a large crowd that's gathered here. This road has been cordoned off. There are police vehicles and paramedics as well that are parked on this main road. I did try to speak to some of the bystanders. You would understand that it is quite sensitive. People are talking in hushed tones about what they think happened. One man that I spoke to, though, says that about 30 minutes or so before we had arrived here, he did hear gunshots, and he wasn't sure what happened. He says to me that he heard 5 gunshots, and thereafter he saw the paramedics and police rushing off through the wrong side of the road, getting in through this road that you see me on now, and cordoning off the area, and that was the last that he heard of it. So he himself wasn't too sure about what took place. But a lot of shock here, because if you just understand the location, it is the CBD. There are lots of blocks of flats, there are businesses, there's even a petrol station to my left, and as I mentioned earlier, all of this happening not far from the Esplanade, and that's where the Durban High Court is located.
Dasen, I don't want, of course, you don't want to make any sort of broad-stroking statements around the kind of area that particular building is in, but it is still the kind of area where if you hear gunshots, it's not sort of the Cape Flats in Cape Town where it's not completely unheard of. Just describe to us the kind of area where this building is located and whether this is so completely out of the ordinary.
Certainly, Michelle. In fact, one of the interesting things now that you're talking about the kind of area this is that I am within walking distance of the Broad Street police station. That's literally off to the side of me to the right. So this really happened a stone's throw away from that police station, and then off to the other side, as I mentioned, the Durban High Court. So certainly not an area known for a particularly out of the ordinary high crime rate. There are some parts further down where there does seem to be a lot of crime. But certainly I think if this happened here or in a suburb, it is still unusual. It's not a common occurrence to hear that 4 people have been killed in a shooting in a block of flats and 3 others critically injured.